So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah! The Detroit Lions over the last couple of years, despite their overall success and despite the fact that they were one of the best teams in football a season ago, have had a couple of positions over the last few years where they have really struggled to address, whether it be just not being able to quite get the right player in the right spot, not quite giving the defensive coordinator enough talent at a certain position, or just going through a number of players and not ever quite finding the right fit. And one of the most consistently inconsistent positions on the roster over the last 3 years has certainly been the kicker position, as the Lions have gone through nearly 10 kickers since the 2020 offseason where Matt Prater left the football team, but those kicking woes may be coming to an end very, very soon. However, before we get into the newest kicker the Detroit Lions have signed, let's talk about the old kickers, as the Detroit Lions, since Matt Prater left in 2020, have gone through nearly 10 kicking options in those 3 seasons, of course, being Riley Patterson twice, Austin Seibert twice, Ryan Santoso, Aldrich Rojas, Michael Badgley twice, Dominic Eberle, as well as Parker Romo, have all kicked field goals, or at least attempted field goals, for the Detroit Lions over the last 3 seasons. Riley Patterson, of course, was brought back twice by the Detroit Lions, once in 2021 and then once again as a trade in 2023. Austin Seibert was with the Detroit Lions for 2021 as well as the beginning of 2022 before getting cut after week 3. Ryan Santoso as well as Aldrich Rojas were kickers for the Detroit Lions in 2021. Michael Badgley finished the 2022 season with the Lions before getting cut, put on the practice squad, and eventually brought back in the final week of the 2023 season, as well as the postseason that year. Dominic Eberle was a kicker in 2021, as well as Parker Romo was a kicker for the Lions in the 2023 preseason, but ended up getting cut before the final roster cutdown day in favor of Michael Badgley and Riley Patterson. To say that kicking has been a struggle for the Lions over the last few years would be an understatement, but those woes may finally be coming to an end with the addition of James Tucker, the Michigan Wolverine. Now, James Tucker spent 5 years at the collegiate level, playing 4 years at Louisville and his final year with the University of Michigan. Now, his first season, I believe he kicked just 1 attempted extra point, but he was then redshirted and was brought back for the remainder of his career. So we're not going to really take a look at his first year because it's 1 kick and it doesn't really matter. But taking a look at the rest of his career, in 2020, James Tucker was really good for Louisville, kicking 40 for 40 on extra points, 100%, while going 13 of 15 on field goals that season. He was great, 86.7% field goal percentage, as essentially a true freshman at the Louisville Cardinals. He scored 79 points for the Cardinals that season and was one of their leading scorers, being a top 10 scorer in all of the ACC. His second year, 2021, got a little bit worse percentage-wise, but did score more points, going 46 for 48 on field goals, going 14 for 22 on extra points, while his extra points were really good, scoring 95.8% of them. His field goal percentage went down a lot, scoring just 63.6% of his overall field goals as a sophomore. Not necessarily great, but again, did put up 88 points and was still really, really solid for the Cardinals overall, despite the overall inconsistency at kicking field goals. However, that did seem to be a one-off type of year, as in 2022, he bounced back pretty significantly, going 38 for 39 on field goals, kicking 97.4%, as well as 20 for 22 on field goals, going 90.9%, by far the highest of his collegiate career when it came to both field goals made as well as the field goal percentage. He scored 98 points in his final year at Louisville before transferring to Michigan in the 2022 offseason, where again, in 15 games, he was really, really good, scoring 119 points overall, going 65 for 66 on field goals, 98.5%, the highest he has seen since his freshman year, and then scoring 18 of 21 field goals, being 85.7% and scoring 119 points, on the way to helping Michigan reach their first national championship in several decades. Meaning overall on his career, James Turner had 3 seasons where he kicked 85.7% or better on field goals, and his overall career extra point percentage is 97.9. He was one of the most consistent kickers in college football over the last few seasons, kicking extra points. And if it wasn't for that really poor sophomore year in 2021, he would have right around probably an 87% field goal make percentage at the field goals, which is, again, top of the NCAA. Over the last 2 seasons, obviously that 90.9 field goal percentage and that 85.7, 86.7 in his freshman year. So again, that one really bad year hurt him a lot, but other than that, he has been one of the most consistent kickers in college football over the last 4 seasons. And I do think that there is a good chance that he might not only win the kicking battle for the Detroit Lions, but he could be the long-term option for the Detroit Lions kicker, right? For a long time, the Lions had Jason Hanson. And then after that, they went to Matt Prater after a year or 2 of kicking woes. So they've had great kicking success in the past. And I do think that James Turner has the potential to be the next great Lions kicker, right? To be the next Matt Prater, who's here for a decade or so and is really, really good. I know Matt Prater wasn't here for a decade, but obviously Jason Hanson was team legend. Matt Prater, great kicker for I think 4 to 5 seasons with the Detroit Lions. I think James Turner can be the next player in that legacy and the next player to really kind of smooth out the kicking issues that the Detroit Lions have had over the last couple of years. Now, James Turner does not have the biggest leg. I don't know his exact long field goal, but I know in his pro day and I know at, a lot of the camps he was working at, he was pushing that mid 60s range, about 63, 65 yards, which is more than enough for an NFL kicker to hit. And overall, I just think that James Turner could be the option. I know everybody is, some people are a big fan of Michael Badgley. I personally like Michael Badgley quite a bit as a kicker. I know that a lot of people like Jake Bates from the Michigan Panthers, who's consistently hitting from 50, 60 plus, but I think James Turner is the right option for the Detroit Lions. He is a super, super productive kicker. He is an incredibly accurate kicker. He is a very consistent kicker. Last season with Michigan Wolverines, he was second in the Big Ten when it came to scoring and just overall. I mean, he's a guy that he has kicked in big situations, kicked in clutch situations, kicked a lot of footballs over the last 4 years, has been super accurate, super consistent. And again, outside of that 1 year at Louisville where he missed a couple of field goals and really brought down his overall averages, this is one of the most consistent kickers in college football over the last couple of years. And I think one of the guys that could compete for a spot day one. But with all of that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Again, a kicker video is only going to be so entertaining with only so many numbers. James Turner, I think, can be the kicker of the future. And I think he's going to be really interesting to see how he fares throughout team camp and the preseason. With all of that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, and as always, go Lions.